Chapter 21. The Present Universe Age. When I use such a term as the present universe age, I refer to such a level of the universe development that has been achieved since the time when, beyond the boundaries of paradise, the creation of galaxies as well as of different orders of life in them has been started. And this life has been developing from the very lowest segment, such as the material mortals that you are accustomed to calling humans, throughout the stage of the soul up to the level of the spirit. And this spiritual growth, even on the lowest life level, or in the least life form, on the level of the material mortal, has not yet reached my level when I was present 2,000 years ago in your own form and among you as Jesus of Nazareth. When humanity reaches the level of my spiritual development, and not only on your planet, but also on the other planets that I was speaking of as my sheep in the other sheepfolds, then another universe age shall be achieved. Now I am not going to speak about it in detail, for it shall be difficult for you to perceive all this anyway. Have a little bit of patience until you get accustomed to the rendering of my thoughts. The more so that my receiver transmitter begins to feel tired and he needs rest. The heavier turns the mortal mind, the more in error it can be while receiving my teachings. We must not be in haste. Our goal is not to reach the finish line as soon as possible, but to relish in the course itself, in the very process of acting. Therefore, I do want to stop my dictation for several hours, and my receiver transmitter, so very devoted, might recuperate his energy that is being fairly well exhausted during this type of cooperation, when such teachings by spiritual beings are being taken on the record. This type of activity for your mortal mind is still a new thing. Thus, the mind itself is not accustomed to working this way, even though my receiver transmitter has already been communing in this way with the Father and with me, and this process is not totally new for him. However, the work of this scope and such a daily spiritual communion with me, and at my offer early in the morning, he is also performing for the first time in his life. That is why I have made a suggestion that he would take a break to recuperate his energy, which is exhausted, and then we would be able to continue. Meanwhile, there are wonderful narratives awaiting you all that neither my receiver transmitter nor you know anything of. Chapter 22. What is God? The time has come for all of you to know that what you call God is nothing else but the supreme consciousness that has the divine consciousness. The divine consciousness is also the universal consciousness. And all this makes up the absolute consciousness taken together. That is what you understand as God. Yes, that is the source of love and knowledge, the personal source, who being personality, can also create other personalities to associate with by keeping a mutual relationship, by governing all the creation. In order that all the absolute consciousness could participate in the activity of the creation, he must split into the universal consciousness and the divine consciousness. The universal consciousness embraces all that part of creation which according to your understanding is an inanimate part of the creation, such as a solid matter and a soft matter, including a liquid and gaseous matter. The divine consciousness embraces that part of the creation that is the animate matter, the substance of the soul and the manifestation of the spirit. The absolute consciousness makes up that part of the creation that will appear in the future during all the future eternity and infinity. And these three types of consciousness manifestations make up that which is God. It is only consciousness that can love, be a personality, be a person, can create and acknowledge. Anything less than consciousness is non-reality, for reality is made up only of these three types of consciousness: the universal, divine, and absolute. God is reality, therefore consciousness is reality. What is non-consciousness is not God, and that is not reality. That cannot ever exist in any way. Reality is existence in the past, present, and future. Non-reality is non-existence in the past, present, and future. But there is not and cannot be such a thing as a real non-reality, because the absolute consciousness embraces as God everything, and due to this, there cannot be anything that would not be embraced. Therefore, there cannot be anything that cannot exist. Everything is in motion and in operation due to consciousness and within consciousness. And there cannot be anything that can shoot out beyond the boundaries of consciousness.